Okay. Okay, cool. So let's start today's call. The first agenda is just to look at the tickets for from current spring, just to see if there's any of the tickets that is the blocker or needs clarifications. So I think I just want to point out, thanks for reviewing those tickets last night. So 272 is part of those code change or apply to all those forms that require those validations against bound elements. I think once 272 is resolved, is moving to the testing column, and then it will be time for all of us to test all those current forms and to make sure the elements are working properly. So I think we still need 272. Because it's because that one is becoming finding out more other issues, and that's why there's several tickets related to each other.
I think 272 is already merged.
Is it already merged?
Yeah.
Or these two pool already did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So let me just put a comment here so that I guess if that's the case, I think we can move to that.
Yeah, it's already merged a couple of days ago, so it should be in the latest APK, and
okay.
We probably just need to update the form then with all the changes from yesterday.
So what changes need to be updated on the form?
Because I merged a couple of pull requests, and it's only on the form side of things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we probably just need to update the form in the test server before doing the testing.
Oh, you mean just uploaded the latest form to create the new templates?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to move this to testing then, because I think that's the next step anyway. So. Okay. So that's the question I have. Actually, there's another questions on 94. Selection on a variable discriminator. Simon, can you explain a little bit more about your comment regarding the ops option?
Yeah, what I meant, there's a handler with the obs discriminator.
Uh-huh.
That one is not being used currently, and I don't know the intention of creating it, but I believe it was to make a handler that would process individual obs. That is, if on mUzima, if you're able to fill just a particular observation without having to fill for the entire encounter. So I think that is the handler that we should be able to process such.
When more actually.
Yeah, so
that conversation came up in one of the forms where we were dealing just with one obs, if I remember correctly. When?
Yeah, I think that handler is just a placeholder because we weren't really sure what we want to do with updating just a single form. But I think that's the approach that we want to do, because we want to have the artifact of the changes that we did with the observation.
Okay, so so would this be something similar that just fill out a form? So just fill a form without encounter? Is it something similar like lab result? Maybe?
Yeah, that could be used for lab result, or you want to add a new observation because one of the observation were not captured or something. So you'll have the demographic information above, and then excuse me, and then just one or two obs at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think that's actually quite an important discriminator because that issue comes up quite often, and so we'll just have to figure out when to implement that functionality at some point.
Yep.
Okay, I think
Right.
that's really helpful. Go ahead.
Is that different?
Okay. No, we are just asking where that leaves that ticket. So Sava explained to me.
So I think it will need need like an OMOP for us so that we can do the testing on the server side. I think that's the next step. Because like right now Sweeter like attach the screenshots, and then there's some comments for her to rearrange the list, the order of the list, and also make sure the options right now like at the full options. So I think this is clear that we also need to include the ops and then to rearrange the list. So I think next step is to get the OMOP so that we can put in the server side and then to look at all these options.
Yeah. Could you provide a little bit more detail in naming the OBS discriminator? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So if you look at her screenshot here, the list say XML registration, JSON registration, XML encounter ops, JSON encounter, JSON demographic update. I think the list would make more sense that to be arranged in the order that most listed with all the JSON ones first, because that's the standard we use the most. Because the XML we used in the past for conversion purpose, right? I don't see we'll convert a lot.
I think we.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we agree with that comment.
Yeah.
I think that suggestion was a good. I'm just saying maybe we should be a little bit more descriptive with the OBS, the naming of the OBS one, just because nobody was even sure what it does. I don't know. It's just a suggestion. And is it a JSON OBS?
Yeah, that makes sense. I think we can make it like a JSON obs.
So do you want
JSON individual OBS or something?
Yeah.
What do you guys want to rename to JSON ops?
JSON individual observation. Exactly.
Yeah. Ed, I think what Martin means, apart from having the discriminator names, possibly we need to have a way of putting a description to tell what it does.
Yes. So just want to point you out this one. So we do have the definitions here on the wiki. So just take a minute to load. 1 second. And that's the reason I did not really put it on the ticket, since like I don't want to change definition on both places. So I capture, the list here, and then so that we can also, we don't lose this parts of information when we move to our new wiki. So kind of like pieces of information everywhere. So and then this already have a link to the definitions, like more bigger definition. I think we just need to add the ops one here and explain what that means. But in here, in the tickets, I think it would be enough that we request that to rename ops into JSON individual ops or something that you guys suggest. And then we add the definition here since we already have a link point to this page. And so when we migrate all our information to our new wiki, we don't need to go through all this ticket.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to say that we name this to individual, JSON individual ops. So if that's the case, do you guys want, which order you guys want to put this? Is it okay on at the end, after the XML, or you think it's still maybe since the naming convention, maybe this should be at the end, maybe right after. Right before the XML one on the list, I think, so that it would be like all the JSON ones come first.
Sounds good.
So I don't see the pull request on this one, so I think we still wait. We'll wait for. I don't think there's a pull request on this one. 1 second. Put it that way. So this is the question I have, and the other one I have is the 267 about the new health center form. It's in pre-testing stage, and I wonder if anyone got a chance to do the testing for this ticket. I know that Ken is on leave.
Yeah, the two are being tested by Kenneth Tom. Yeah, the dispensary form and the health center form. So he's not giving me feedback today. I think he was busy yesterday and today, but he's actively testing, and he should be giving me feedback if there are any changes I need to make before I commit for code review.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this applies for both of the forms. So those are the questions I have when I look at the ticket last night. And is there any tickets that anyone would like to discuss? Either you need clarifications, or it become a blocker and it helps, or just simply want to bring it up for discussions. Okay, cool.
Hi, Ada.
Yeah, go ahead.
Fine. I was maybe I wanted to discuss the issue to do with the APK, the July 20th APK that is only working on other tablets rather than the ACID Y210, because that tells me that maybe I still have to go back and still use the February APK, which I find more stable than any of them. So would it be prudent for me to still use the February APK since when I use the July 20th APK is not working on Huawei Hasand Y210?
So that is it direct?
Sure.
Yeah, there. Do you mean that your question was you still need to know which APK should be used for implementation?
Yeah.
Okay, so so on Monday we discussed this. I think we said we give everyone by this Friday to do the to share the feedback through the email for the proposed suggestions like how the which APK should be used and things like that. Did you get a chance to read that one, the email?
Yeah, I am aware of that, and I just wanted to come up with a confirmation that now would it be still prudent for me to use the February APK since I'm doing trainings out there in the field right now for the remaining community units for lab study, and the devices I'm using on the devices I have the February APK that I'm using. A number of issues I've encountered in, but I'm glad that things are working right now. Now, the only question I would ask is when you try using the February APK with the current forms that were updated by, I think it was Vickers,
Mm-hmm.
you find that you look into it, yeah?
This also, so Simon, this is exactly what we talked about last time, that to include the steps about the upgrade resolution that Simon signed up for. So Simon already pointed out that when we switch the APK version or the module version, it might create some conflicts because of the versioning difference and then the feature difference. So Simon has kindly volunteered to help us with the resolution upgrade process.
Yes.
Yeah. So Simon, do you want to explain one more time to Derek and everyone what that means?
Okay. Simon, please.
Okay, the major change that require upgrade resolution is the change from HTML registration discriminator to JSON registration. Because when you use the new APK, it means you will no longer be able to submit data on a registration form that was downloaded with the HTML registration discriminator. And if you download with the new form, if you create a new form having JSON registration discriminator, you'll be able to download it on the APK and be able to proceed registering JSON and submit on the server side. But then on the server side again, they won't be processed unless we run script that would make it possible for the current OMA to process that kind of data. So what I'll be doing is on the server side, if guys will be sending data with HTML registration discriminator, I'll run a script that would make it use JSON registration and be able to process that data. So purely what I'll be doing was on the server side. But for Derek, if you want to use the latest APK, it means we need to also update the server side so that we have HTML a registration form that has the JSON registration discriminator.
Yeah, I think Eric brings up a very valid point from an implementation standpoint. And it seems to me that that's not something that the testers should decide versus kind of the code developer team. And with Eda's input, obviously, is, can we have a version that we think is stable enough to be used to upgrade our current implementations, both on the server side and on the devices? Because I don't think we'll ever get away from this cycle of continuous enhancement. We need to just settle on a version we think is good enough for rollout in the field and for upgrading what we have right now. Any thoughts or comments, Win or Eda?
Yeah. So this is going to happen for sure. Because we always have new fixes or new features. So there's always like in implementation to use one version, and then we have new version to release. It might create some conflicts. So that's why we add the step that, as Simon pointed out, the upgrade resolution part, so that we can catch those conflicts before it happens. So I just want to go through the
I think the latest one is it should be the stable one, because all the ticket, once we test it out, I think we can consider the output of the current sprint is the latest stable one, but we still need that upgrade script mentioned by Simon earlier. I think after this sprint, once we move all the testing ticket to the done stage, I think we will have a new release after each sprint for both the APK and the module.
Yeah, thanks, Win. The team here was just concerned that, with the latest APKs, they're not very, very stable with the Y210, the Huawei Y210. And we're wondering if we get a new release, would it really work with the Huawei Y210? Because those are the most used phones in the field. That is, I think, was Eric's concern.
Is it possible for I think because we don't have the device here anymore, we cannot really test it out. Is it possible to send out the log output when there is something wrong with the Huawei?
And in fact, I agree with Win. So Lagat, when you say it's not very stable, what do you mean?
Yeah, what happens, one is when you install the APK later, when you want to access from the main dashboard, you cannot be able to access especially clients. When you touch clients, the app crashes. And maybe as Win asked, maybe we can be able to produce a log of the same and attach. Yeah.
Say that again. I didn't hear very well.
So I'm saying mostly installation of the app running the wizard completes successfully. But when you want to access the main mUzima dashboard icons or tabs, you cannot access, especially when you touch clients, the app crashes. And that makes you not to access anything else because you cannot access even the client list. Yeah, that's what's happening. And that is ticketed on ticket 296 and 297.
So what are the ticket numbers?
mUzima 296 and mUzima 297.
So all the forms are displayed included.
And in addition of the same, it's highlighted on ticket mUzima 296, whereby all the other forms will appear in blue color. So that tells you that when you're selecting the particular form to download, you would not easily know unless you guess. And that's what everyone has been doing here, guessing.
So you're saying all the forms?
Yeah, all the forms will appear in blue when you are downloading. During download, while running the wizard, all the forms would appear in blue. And after the download, you will find that the app will crash when you touch clients. on Huawei Ascend Y210.
Okay, on that part,
But the tablet things are working good. I don't know, maybe there's an upgrade that is needed. I don't know. Maybe guys can look at that.
Derek, does it happen with the latest APK?
Sure.
The one you, I think, the one you are installing yesterday, did it?
Sure.
Showing.
Yeah.
So Derek is saying it still shows you the latest APK?
Yeah. The latest APK, July 20th APK.
And were you able to submit the logs?
Sorry?
So you said the app was crashing, right?
Yeah. The app crashes when you touch clients, and also during download, while the one download user is still running, all the forms, when you get a position for you to select the particular form that you want to download, all the forms appear in blue color. So you cannot really distinguish which one have you selected for you to download the specified one.
So, Derek, you mentioned at some point it was crashing. Derek?
Sorry?
Yeah, I'm saying.
Yeah.
You mentioned while you're on the dashboard, it was kind of crashing.
Yeah.
So
when you touch clients,
whether you are able to submit the crash report.
Yeah, I was able to submit crash reports. Did submit a crash report. I'm not just sure whether the crash report submitted is whether it's working, but I submitted. Yeah.
Where do you want to put this?
Check on mUzima 97.
Now, Eda, where do you think we should fall in the sprint? Because it seems like a blocker.
So yeah, I'm just looking at so did it happen today, Derek?
It happened yesterday again. I tried that yesterday again. I was with Savai when we were trying to troubleshoot exactly what might have happened. But when I tried it on Nexus 7, it did work. With yeah, it works well. The APK works well, but not on Huawei as and Y210.
So let me do a screen share. So I was just looking at the crash report here. So there is two reports submitted yesterday. So it's the no pointer exception. So I don't even know what device this is. It's not the Huawei device. Can you guys see the screen?
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
we can.
So I don't know. I'm not familiar with this device. Maybe you guys do. I don't think this is the one that you have. So there's another one. Let's look at the other one. So this is from. So I don't see the crash report that's submitted from the Huawei device. I think that's the problem. That so we don't capture the stat trace issue. So this is another device. It's not the Huawei device from yesterday. So when you submit the crash report, does it say successfully submitted or something, or it give you? Did you actually submit? Click the OK button to submit?
It says successful, maybe unless there was poor connection on the event. But we can still submit another one. Yeah, without coming again.
Yeah. Can you please, if you can reproduce, can you submit another one?
Okay.
That would be really helpful. So I think it would be really helpful if we can, have the stat trace when when the crash happens, so we have more information to understand what the problem is. So maybe the to-do is for Direct to try to reproduce the crash and then submit the crash report. Try different scenarios so that we capture all different cases.
Hey, I think I found one of the bugs.
You did? Okay.
Can you go back to the report for that?
Which one?
The one from 4 days. Why yours is not showing? Go to the report tab.
Mine's not showing. I don't know why.
There you go. Go to the one on the 4 days ago. Yeah, reported by Huawei. And you scroll up to see the summary at the bottom. So for the, if you look at the stack trace over there, go back up. So this is null pointer on comparator line 33. So that for that one, I think the problem is in the code there is a comparison for given middle name. And then I think when the comparison happen, one of the middle name is null.
But the middle name can be no, right?
Yeah, because middle name could be null.
Is this the same error that Derek was saying? It's different, right?
Yeah.
So is this the same error Derek was talking about? Or this are different?
This is reported by Huawei, so this could be.
But not. Yeah, so this was 4 days ago. I don't know.
Yeah, Mike might have the same questions. Like if he submitted yesterday, we should be able to see.
Yeah.
Reported yesterday, So maybe, I think maybe just to be safe, Derek can try to reproduce those errors and then submit crash reports from different scenarios so that to see we can capture those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be fine.
Is there any other problem identified with the current APK that would limit it from being used as a go-to APK other than what Derek has reported?
We have another problem. While using technology forms using the latest APK, I was not able to save the forms as complete or draft. I was getting an error. An error has occurred while saving the forms. And I've created a ticket 302, mUzima 302.
Is it this one, Robot?
Yes, Rabbi.
So your ticket is showing that you're using the February APK. So is it the same thing happened for the July 20th APK?
No, I was not using the February APK. I was using the latest APK 20.
Okay, I think that's so maybe it's okay if you go ahead and update it on the description information to change to July. It's okay we go ahead and change it to July 20th APK because on the ticket it says February.
Okay, I'll update.
Okay.
Has anybody seen the same problem?
Sorry?
Is anybody else having the same problem with that APK?
I was able to save incomplete form data. I did not try it for complete form data.
I tried the registration form it once on a different device, but I've not tried the ontology form. Very speaking.
So the July 20th APK, when I tested, I only tested for the incomplete form data because I did not, those tickets is required to save them as complete form data, so I did not test on that one. But I was able to save incomplete form data.
So can somebody else on the Kenya side sit with Robai and see if you can reconfirm that this error is happening on the right APK?
Yeah. Robert,
Okay.
could you find some time today? Maybe I can sit with you, we go through, because I think this morning we tested the dispensary form, myself and Mary, and we were able to save. So maybe it's not something specific to the APK, it could be the form.
Okay, I'll come.
But thanks for filing the ticket, Robai.
Okay.
So I think 302 is pretty much the same. It just reports for different oncology forms. Is it correct?
Yeah. I'd also be interested in seeing which APK was being used. You guys can sit and see.
So is there other any other things you guys need to discuss in terms of current sprint? I just want to finish up this part and then we can move on to the next one. Okay. So let's move to the next agenda item is the implementation update. I think it's kind of like we already talked about some of them. So Derek, do you want to just give us an update from the LARC and CDM implementation?
Okay. Yeah. What's happening? Lab study resumed. In lab study, we resumed trainings and implementation. And what's happened right now is that yesterday, starting on Tuesday, we embarked on training CTVs on mUzima. And I wanted that this morning at 10. And what happening is now that we need to do next week will be rolling out the community units in Sugoi and Chepkemel also. So we will have direct implementation and some data sent to the production server, maybe possibly this next week. And the preceding weeks will be doing training for all other community units. I think that's the main update. And also, the RAs resumed using the tablets to enter data. That's the positive behavior of the VM. Yeah, since I was in the field so far, I've not had a chance to look at the many number of forms that have been entered with, but after this, I can be able maybe to look at maybe and give an update at how many have entered, how many have
So yeah, so let me ask you back for one of the to-do from the Monday call, the last Monday call. So what's the updates that to set up a standalone to point to the archive database, the inactive database, so that you can help to resolve those error resolutions? Is there any progress on that one?
Oh, you're saying what are some of the preventive measures that one?
It's not preventive. It's like you remember there's like two databases. One is the inactive database. One is the active database. You already have resolved all those error resolutions for the active database, and
Yeah.
For the inactive database, it still needs to go through the same process.
Yeah, we need to solve all the errors on the active database.
Yeah. So I think on the Monday call, the to do was to set up the standalone to point to the inactive database. Is there any progress on that?
Ed, I cannot hear your question very well. I can't hear you. Maybe you can type. I can.
Okay, I can type. Okay, sure.
Yeah. Hi, Eda, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
I can hear you clearly. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Now, what happened is I have an active standalone on my machine, and what I was planning is by today or next week on Monday, I'll be able to pick that particular database and run it on my machine. I've not been able to do that because since I was involved in the training. So maybe let me give an update on Tuesday next week about the same.
So, you mean the data is on your machine?
Sorry, no, I have an instance of OpenMRS. So I will get the database with the help of Sabai, then we can be able to run it on my machine. I haven't done that yet since I was involved in the training.
Yeah, I would suggest not to move the patient data to your laptop or your machine. It should still stay in the server. It just simply use your standalone to point to the inactive database to move forward the error resolutions, so that we should not have that patient data in our laptop. Does it make sense?
Okay, I hear you, Heather.
Yeah, okay, cool. Thanks. How about implementation updates from Robai, Eric, Mary, Florida? I know Ruth has been out.
Okay, from oncology, we had a problem using the February APK, whereby we were not able to open the draft and complete forms. When we tried opening, the application was crashing. We told Savai about the issue. Then he helped us. What he did, he backed up the oncology data. Then he saved it to 14th May APK. Then we were able to upload the complete forms to the server, it was successful. But we still have some forms which were saved as draft. We are still working on them, and hopefully by Monday we'll be able to be through and upload the production server. Then we were thinking that we should use the 20th APK. I mean, we should load the device with 20th APK. I'm not sure if that is okay.
Yeah, thanks for the update, Rubai, and also reporting all the issues and communicate with us, and also work with Simon to help with moving forward. Is there other update from other implementation?
Maybe just to put a comment.
Yeah, go ahead, Simon.
Rubai is asking whether it will be okay to use the latest APK, the one of 20th. So I think we shall finalize the testing, and if that is confirmed it's working fine, we shall need to also update the form, the registration form on the server side. Otherwise, the new APK will not work with the current registration form on the server side. So I don't know. Maybe we need to have a plan of how to complete the testing, and then probably after that, if we are sure it's working fine, then we also have a plan of updating the registration form on the server.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, Wayne. Where do you plan on to have the, like on Monday we talk about to have a separate folder for implementation quality, APK, and also OMOPs. So after the sprint, so do you have a plan where this might be, and then what in terms of the timeline, how many days you would need, or what steps it require in order for you to generate those for us?
I think I can create a. We can just use the Dropbox for now, Ada.
Okay.
Yeah, it's easy enough for me to generate in a separate folder in the Dropbox. So once the sprint is, once the sprint is done, I can upload.
Okay. Cool. So maybe like one is the development folder, one is like implementation folder, something like that.
Yep.
So it goes back to, I think, some of the questions and comments earlier, probably a couple of weeks ago, regarding the naming convention of the APK and also OMOP. Thanks for adding the date, so that it's easier to tell which one is which one. I just want to check with everyone whether this is sufficient and they find it helpful. It's less confusion, like before, that you cannot tell when the APK was generated or the OMOP is generated. Is it working fine for everyone, or you still have find it confusing, or you have other suggestions how it can be improved? This is for everyone.
Adam, maybe you can repeat the question. We didn't get you yet. You got dropped off in the middle.
Ada, are you getting us?
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. So I was asking that, a couple weeks ago, you guys suggest that, it's really difficult to tell which APK just from the file name. So the suggestion is to add the dates at the end of the file name to distinguish different version of the APK as well as the OMOPs. And I just wonder. Oops, sorry. Sorry, it's my phone. So now with this naming convention, is it still confusing or is it helpful? Is there any more suggestion you guys want to improve on the naming convention of the APK and the OMOP file?
Yeah, I think maybe about the APKs, we're okay with them. Maybe the problem we are having at the moment is the mods. We do not have a direct, like a link where we can get the updated modules to try on our standalone machines.
It's in the same folder. Let me just look at it.
Because like right now, depending on mUzima desk server, which goes on and off, it's kind of a pullback.
So actually, it's in the same folder. Eric, can you see the screen?
Sorry?
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So all the OMOP actually in the same folder as the APK. So you see the mUzima 1.0.1 OMOP, and then the registration OMOP, they're all in the same folder with the APK.
So do we mean like on one folder we have all the mUzima modules inside there, like teleconsultation, the registration module, the
So what happened is that if there's like a need for the ticket generated, need to generate a new APK, it will be here. If the ticket require a new generation of OMOP, it will be here. It will be posted here. And then, after the end of the sprint, Win is going to have a separate folder to include the latest version of all the OMOPs and APK for implementation quality.
Okay, that would be helpful.
Yeah, so that's what the email is about.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Eda, we've seen the email about the PHCT requirements. I think if you get time, just review so that you can see a way forward of how we're going to handle the PHCT issues.
Say it one more time, Lagat.
Yeah, I'm talking about the PHCT user requirements that I've sent you for review. Maybe if you get time, go through them, then let me know what else we can add so that we can start the process of.
Yeah, feel free to circulate for the related parties, and then we can comment together before we get back to PHCT team.
Oh, thanks, Ella.
We have 3 minutes left. Is there any other updates or comments or questions before we wrap this up?
I don't know if Sabai had raised this. There was an issue that we just wanted to briefly discuss of adding forms to the production server. We were just having a thought that we should have a way or a standard way of how we going to add mUzima forms to the production server. Since we don't, if you have any change of concepts within a form and we upload directly to production server, when the goal is being moved from the form server to the production server, I think it will take implementation. So we are trying to think of the best way of how we're going to handle this so that when the goal moves from the form server to production server, you don't get affected. I don't know if Sabai raised that.
Yes, like that. This is the same conversation we had some time back about the problem of currently updating only the production server with forms, and then when the gold is moved, it overrides everything. So it's the same discussion we had with Lagat, and we thought moving forward, I think each project should follow up and should know whenever they want to update their forms, and whenever the need arises, they would contact me so that I can make sure that the forms are updated on form server and production server.
Are you on?
Were you able to catch that, Lagat?
Sarah?
Were you able to hear what Simon mentioned?
I'm not getting you, Ada.
So did you hear what Simon said earlier?
Yes, I had.
Yeah. Lagat, do you get? Are we clear now? I don't know whether there are any further questions.
Yeah, thanks, Savai, for putting that what we discussed. I think we'll just have the projects, the different projects. I hope Derek is here, Lawrence will let him know, so that when there's any new changes, they can be able to contact you, so that you can work together to upload, to upgrade both sides. Thanks, Savai.
Okay, and then another question for Win before we leave. Win, maybe if you could have a look at my teleconsultation testing ticket, it's mUzima 299. I've given a comment there. Maybe if you can give response, it would be helpful.
Yeah, I think we will groom it for the upcoming sprint, Eric. So
Because I think I'm behind schedule and I really need to work on it kind of.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So if there's nothing else, thank you everyone for your contributions, and we will chat again next Monday. And please help to test with those tickets on the testing column. As we discussed earlier, the next step is to create new form templates from the latest form from the form repository on GitHub. And then after that, we can do the testing for all those tickets because they can't relate to each other. So that's why it's nice to test all of them at the same time. So please be pleased to help with testing. I will do it myself, but I still need more than me to test so that to confirm that those tickets are working properly.
Okay, thanks, Eva.
Okay, thanks guys. Have a good
Bye.
one. Bye.
Okay, bye.